me go. At least I think I am. I thought I was.
We're still launching, so I mean,
No, everyone can hear me. Let's
okay, here we go.
see. Yes. Oh no. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see if it works. Woo! Woohoo! All right. Now I have to, I hope I stopped it. Well, hopefully you guys can hear that. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. That's our first time doing our wonderful tag, and we give honors to Mr. DeAndre Franklin, who is the creator
Well, he's a writer,
and
arranger, producer,
producer.
and he didn't charge us. I
Yes,
mean,
and he did that for free out of love. People don't do much of
yeah,
that anymore, huh?
nah, yeah. What's
Wow.
our
So,
brother? He's like a brother to us, and
yes,
so he's very talented. So we
extremely.
didn't ask
And
for it. He gave it to us, and
he,
so we
yes.
definitely appreciate it.
So if you're an artist and you're looking to do some recording, reach out to us. We got a connection. DeAndre's ready to work with you. He's got his own studio. It is amazing. I think maybe we should have him on the show, honey.
Yeah,
And let
talk
him
about
talk
the
about
studio. Yeah,
the
yeah,
studio and
yeah,
what he's doing. It's a wonderful, wonderful
yeah,
work.
yeah.
We want to say welcome to all of you that have joined us out there. Again, I hope you can hear our wonderful brand new theme song, and we're excited. Um, hopefully,
We
uh,
have two brand spanking new,
ooh
hot off the
wee,
press
guests,
guests of
yay!
today.
Bestest guests ever already. They're like
Yeah,
both
yeah,
on time, ready to go. We're all like in a chill, like, okay, is it time
yeah.
yet? Because they were on,
I
and
think what I
so
like most about
yeah,
our guests, they're both smiling.
yes. Look at those
They're
pretty
both
smiles, and
smiling.
they're just the nicest. Nurses are just the nicest people.
Yes, they are. We
Aw,
need to do
yeah.
Right.
better as
Hearts,
patients.
hearts.
We need to do better.
If you do what we say, we'll be nice. If you do.
Yeah.
Amen. So we want to thank God. I see lots of people are on. There's Miss Monique. Hey, Monique. Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're on. Moni, I think you missed our theme song. Oh, man. All right. But we're so grateful and excited tonight. We're going to be talking about, I think that it's like a wholeness, right? Healing for your mind, heart, body, and soul. And
Yeah,
we're excited to
yeah.
have these amazing two young ladies that I've not met before. So, man, I tell you, I can't wait to talk to them. Praise the Lord, Pastor Gary Everett. We are happy to see you as well. Hey there, Miss
Pastor Gary
Carolyn is
Everett.
on
All
with us.
right.
Mom Newman's here. Okay, I just saw Mom Newman. All right, we can
Well,
get
you happy
started. I'm
now.
happy
Yeah,
now.
you
I'm always
happy
happy when
now.
I see her in the
Right.
chat. Thanks, Mom. We love you. And to all of the rest of you. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get
Yeah, you're
started
going to
with
get. I'm
tonight's
going to be
show.
sharing while
You're
you
going to
get
share.
going.
All
Yeah.
right. Evening to everyone. Welcome you all. Hey, Annie Ann. Hey there, Miss Connie. Welcome, you guys. Oh, my goodness. If anybody heard our theme song at the beginning, just give us a shout out. Let us know. I want to see. I want to get some feedback on that. I think it's hot. I think it's super
Oh
hot.
yeah, no doubt. DeAndre Franklin, come on, he's the best.
All right. All right, we're going to open with prayer with ladies. Either one of you want to help us open with prayer tonight? We're going to offer you the opportunity. Either of you?
I'm like, on the spot.
I'm like,
Is there like, what?
Oh
I'm not.
well, yeah, it's
I'm
always
not
on
gonna
the
ask
spot.
to lead
I mean,
prayer.
we
I'm good with
can
a lot
do
of
it.
things, but not
We
that.
can do it. We
Yeah, we
just
can do it. I
ask.
just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure I
yeah.
offer. I don't feel any air coming.
You don't feel what?
I don't feel any.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and open up in prayer, and then we'll go from there. So, dear God, we just thank you for just this opportunity to have a talk, to have a discussion
Yes, thank you, Lord.
about wellness and about how
Yes.
to uh, preserve our bodies, our
Mm.
minds.
Mm.
And so we just thank you, God. We just thank you for our very special guests.
Yes,
We
on
thank
tonight.
you
We're
for
so
these
grateful.
two professionals, these two registered nurses, dear God, who's going to speak
Share.
into our hearts and our minds. They're going to give us tips. They're going to encourage us. They're going to
Inspire
even
us.
tell us, Lord, where we might be
Uh-oh.
going wrong at. So
Yes.
we just thank you for them. We ask that you bless their home, bless their families, bless their jobs.
Bless their work.
And we ask for a miraculous income increase in their
Yes,
lives.
in both of their
right
lives.
now,
in
in
Jesus'
Jesus'
name.
Amen.
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 She's like, okay, I can get with that. I can get with that.
And all the right stuff.
All right, so let's see. We have Martha and we have Crescenda. We have two registered nurses.
Right.
And
right.
they're here tonight. They're going to share their story. They're going to introduce themselves. They're going to share their story. And then we're going to talk a little bit about if nurses ran the world. Yes. Who wants to go first? Who wants to introduce themselves first?
I'm like, I'll go.
Yay!
All right.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for this invitation. I appreciate it. Thank you. So my name is Martha Dixon. I am a registered nurse, but I got my start about 12 years ago as a licensed vocational nurse.
Okay.
And I was actually an LVN for about 10 years before I went back to school to get my RN. And so during the time of being an LVN, I have worked as a school nurse, as a home health nurse. I worked in a rehab facility, at a skilled nursing facility. So I got a lot of experience hands-on as a working nurse. And then I went back to school and received my RN. In between time, I got a master's in psychology. And I'm currently working on my master's in nursing. So I consider myself to be a lifelong learner. I'll probably be in school for the rest of my days because I feel there's always more to know.
Absolutely.
I love the healthcare field.
All right.
And I'm just happy to be here with you guys tonight.
All right. Well, we sure do appreciate you being here with us tonight.
We do. Thank you so much. All right, Miss Crescenda.
Hi, Miss Bree. I am also an LVN. I came from a family. My mother was an RN, so it was interesting because I always kind of knew I wanted to be a nurse because I was kind of a sickly child. So my mom didn't go back to school until I started to have a really bad asthma. And she said she got anxiety with not knowing what was going on. Like the doctor would try to explain to her, you know, what was going on. And anyway, she just said she got tired of seeing her child like that. So she went back to school. She went full time. So she had my brother and I and was raising a family, you know, with my father. And she did that. And she was like a lot like Martha. She had a master's degree. So I kind of came from that kind of family. The nursing thing was kind of like, that's my personality. I love to help out. I love to learn. And in nursing, if I could teach anyone, you can do anything you want in nursing. You can be a teacher, you can be a staff nurse, you can be a school nurse, you can you know, be a nurse educator to the patients, like what me and Martha do now. We're educators for nursing students. So we're putting new nurses out there. There's just so many things you can do. So I also have a huge passion for nursing. I too was an LVN for 20 years.
Wow.
All right. All right.
I
Yeah.
decided to get my RN, but it was always kind of in the back of my mind. And I really was thriving at my job. So I thought, oh, you know, I don't mind doing this for the rest of my life. But like I said, my mother always continued to push me. And I too would like to get my master's, but I work a lot. So
yeah, it's a
every nurse works a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm just trying to get things, you know, in a routine where I can go and be my best. So
yeah, okay.
All
But
right. Well,
That's
excellent,
wonderful.
excellent.
So you both work in a facility. Tell us a little bit about that, where you help other nurses get certified.
no, actually, if you want to be a nurse, you have to go to nursing school. And so we teach you how to be a nurse. Well,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
um, my
Okay.
position
So,
is to teach you how, because there's a licensing, state licensing once you finish a nursing program.
mhm,
And we get you ready to take that nursing licensure. State boards is what we call it, so
mhm.
that you can practice as a nurse because you can't practice without that license.
Without that license, that's so
Right.
true. So they actually, this is wonderful. What would you say is the hardest thing, the hardest challenge for our young people? So many of my students, I'm an educator also, many of them, they want to go into nursing. What would you say a person should focus on if that's what they want to be? You know, because you teach
Mhm.
them once we're done with the high school piece. What should they focus on, and what might be some of the challenges that they might face?
That's good. I would say they really should focus on making some sacrifices because nursing school is not easy. They really
Right.
have to buckle down and be
Right.
committed. I mean, fully
Mm.
committed. I tell my students, your textbook needs to be your boyfriend. That needs to be your girlfriend. That needs
All
to be your
right. Now go
everything.
ahead.
You have to
All
fully
of
commit.
that.
Okay. You are
Wow.
into that textbook like nothing. You're going to miss baby showers. You're going to miss barbecues. You're going to miss out on a lot of
Absolutely.
things, but
Absolutely.
it's that sacrifice that will get you to the finish line. You have to make
Wow.
sacrifices and then you can reap the reward in the end. That's what I would think.
Oh, that's really good.
Right.
Thank you, Miss
And
Martha.
then just to add on what Martha was saying, and in the long run, it's only a couple of months, for the rest of your life. So you're
Got it.
trying to make,
Yeah. Really. Huh. Yeah.
you're making a few maybe big sacrifices, but it's only temporary. You have to keep your eye on the prize because once you finish this program, and you become a nurse, it will change your life, for the
Okay.
better in
Okay.
every aspect. Also, I also would tell, is what I was asked. It was a struggle for me too, because nursing school is hard. And I thought since I did well in high school and I was,
Mhm.
um, and came from an educated family that I would do well. And nursing school is not like regular college. It's not. Martha can attest to that. She's got a few degrees.
Wow. Wow.
So I struggled, and my mother asked me, when I'm pulling out my hair and crying and like, what's
Mhm.
wrong with me? She said, why do you want to be a nurse? Why do you, Crescenda, want to be a nurse? So and all that time I was like, well, my mom was a nurse and I love the way, she lived her life. So I wanted to be like mom. She said, no, that's not, and I said, and for the money. I mean, let's be honest, it was for the
Nurses get paid very well. That's one of the best parts of being a
right.
nurse, y'all.
Yeah.
Good
So
pay.
yes. So she said, that's why you're struggling, because that's not
Mm.
why people become nurses and be successful. She said, what is your passion? She's like, you have this personality that you love caring for people. You do it like second nature. Um, and what sort of change do you want to make?
Right. Right. Right.
Wow.
Can't just go into it and, think, well, this is what everybody else has been doing, for decades and years. So you just follow through. She was like, you can be an innovator. What is it about healthcare that you don't like? Or like when you go to the doctor, what do you want to see change? She's like, that's what you go into
Oh,
nursing
good
for.
questions. Good questions. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
yeah, no superficial stuff. Like, well, it's a good paycheck and that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I thought my role in life was. You really have to have a passion. And like Martha said, you have to be willing to sacrifice just a little bit, but it's going to change your life. And she always told me that. And she's absolutely right. I mean, my life has changed dramatically from one degree to another.
Wow.
And I'll never be the same. And you have to have faith. You also have to have faith in
All
yourself.
right. All right.
You
All
have
right.
to be able to ask for help, because you can't just do it all by yourself. You really can't. You have to have You have to have the Lord on your side. You really do.
I
So
know that's right. You're gonna need them.
All right, now,
Hallelujah.
yeah, you talking now.
We're talking.
You know, but I am so glad that you said something. You
Yeah.
said, I thought it was gonna be
Easy.
easy. I had good grades. I come from educated family.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you know, like I was doing well in school.
Yeah.
But when I got in nursing school, it was like I was transferred to a different location.
Yes.
a
To
whole
a
nother
different
world.
location, right?
It's a
And
whole
so I'm
nother
glad you
world.
said that because
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there and they know that they're bright,
Yes.
you know, but then to go into nursing school, not only I heard you guys say it's hard, you know, and I know quite a few nurses and they all say that. You know, so it's not something that it's, you know how a lot of times our young people, they go on college campus and they get on college campus and they think it's a big party. Well, nurses don't get a chance to party like that.
We
you
don't
know?
want them to.
No.
We need you nurses to be in the books. We don't be going to no parties, no bar mitzvahs, no baby shower. No. We need you to get them competencies. Come on now.
That is true. That is true.
Yes.
But I'm glad you said that for our
Yes,
listeners that
for-
it's not
for
easy.
everybody.
So we already getting questions.
Yeah,
for-
people are
from the
already asking
medical.
questions.
I have one viewer on. She
Jacqueline.
says, tell her about muscle spasms.
Yeah, talk about muscle spasms and what
So-
food can she eat and what can she do because she has lupus too.
So Miss Dixon, you want to
Come
talk
on.
on that for a minute?
Sure, absolutely. First, I want to preference everything I say by you have to go by what your doctor
Your
is
doctor
saying,
saying.
and what you should be asking about is having your labs done. Okay, when you have
Right.
lab work done, that's when they do that blood draw. I know no one wants to get their blood taken, but they have to take your blood
You have
to
to.
really know your levels. If they don't
Yeah.
take blood, we're just guessing here, right? They need to take
Yes.
blood so we can get a full lab
know.
panel of what is going on.
All of you nurses are vampires. All of you.
We need the
Jeez.
blood. It's the only
need
way
the
to
blood.
know. We have to get the blood, okay?
No, you're right. You're right. I was at the doctor today and he got 12 tubes.
Ugh.
Because he's gonna do my
Awesome.
labs every year. I
Every
do a
year.
complete physical.
Complete.
I was gonna
That
say,
is what I was gonna recommend.
I don't have
You
to
have
be.
to.
I don't have to be sick. I don't have to think I'm sick. Every year I'm gonna take a complete physical because a lot of people they say, "Well, I don't want to know." Me, I want to know.
You need to know. A lot of things can be corrected early on.
Early.
So you need to know. Preventative checkups are so important. So it's good you're already doing that. So if you're concerned about your muscle spasming, I'm thinking there's something going on with your potassium levels, possibly, but you wouldn't know that unless you got your blood drawn
blood drawn, right?
and the doctor went over your labs with you. So that's the first step. That's what I say do. Get your blood
Right.
taken. Ask your doctors about the spasms so they can get to the root cause, because a lot of times we have the same signs and symptoms, but it's different things.
That's
We don't want to
going
play a guessing game, right? So you just get your lab work done and they're able to discuss what is going on with you individually.
She's such
Right.
a good nurse.
That's good. I mean, she's a nurse. She went right into
Right
that.
into it.
You know, and you're right. You're right. It's in the blood. You know, and
It's in the
In
blood.
the church,
Don't
they
make
sing
me
about
preach
it all the
Don't
time.
make me preach. It's all about the blood. Come on,
You know-
somebody.
You know, because
Ah.
because I have a young doctor, so we have a lot of fun when
Yeah.
when I'm in the exam room with him. We talk about kids and everything, and his 4-year-old, his baby turned into a 4-year-old, and I was like, 4 years.
And we know,
And
and
then
we
the other
know
one
them
is
that long.
6, you know.
Uh.
And he was talking about how the little one wanted to take karate and he practiced on his sister. But you're right. He told me, I need you to go and let's look at the blood. You know, because, you know, I told him, I said, well, Doc, if I give them blood, I say blood gossips too much.
Yeah, blood tell everything.
Blood will tell all your business.
That's
It
right.
will tell all your
Should.
business. You know, but that's what we need to know. Like you say, early detection. If we don't know, and a lot of time people, they feel things in their bodies and they ignore it. I mean, if I get the slightest pain, I'm on the phone with
Yeah, it's
Angie
true.
or
I will
Arlene,
forget.
her sister,
Yes.
or her mother, Miss Bobby. I'm calling some.
He gonna be calling y'all after a while.
Joe is. I'll call my wife, you know, and she'll say, "Well, I'm not a nurse." I say, "But
I'm
you're
not
a
a
teacher."
Lord of
That's
mercy.
good though.
But that's a
Pay
good
attention
thing.
to your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Your
love
body
it.
is not trying to tell you something.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Just to add on to what
Yes.
Martha was
Please.
saying, it could also be your calcium, is low, or you just plain old aren't drinking enough water.
Water. Woo, the magic
So,
potion.
Are the coffee, caffeine, country,
Tell them.
a lot of times where, I myself I'm guilty. I'm drinking caffeine all day, and I forget to drink my water. And caffeine is the
My goodness.
diuretic. So you're on top of not
drinking water.
you're supposed to, you're getting
losing it.
your reserves already.
Yeah.
But I always start every medical conversation with, I'm not a doctor, but if I were you, I would go to the lab, go to your doctor, let them know what's wrong, or make a phone call nowadays. And
Yeah.
say,
Right,
a lot of
right.
times you don't have to spend that time taking off work. You just make a phone call and the doctor will say, well, hey, sounds like you need your labs drawn. We'll do the orders, and you just drive by the lab and then make an appointment for the
Oh,
reading.
that's good. That's
So
excellent.
most places will do that too. But absolutely, you talk to the
You
doctor.
know, and it's a good thing to do. It's an accomplishment. Once I go to the doctor and I give that blood and I get my results back, I'm so relieved.
Yes.
You know, because I feel like I'm okay, and I'm watching my body. I'm watching my health. You know, so it's really a big relief, and you'll be surprised just going to the doctor will take away so much stress.
Anxiety.
Yeah. Do what
Now
you're
you don't have
supposed to
worry
do.
about it.
Right.
Yes. So someone was asking, and I wanted to get to other things, but I do want to pay attention. So we have Miss Antoinette who's asking about menopause natural remedies. So anything for
let me
hot flashes. All right, go ahead, Miss Crescenta.
That's my area.
Help us out, girl. Help us out.
I'm having one just talking about it.
Oh gosh.
So quite honestly, yes, this is new to me. And as nurses, we don't like to take medicine, and stuff like that. So I early on asked my gynecologist if I could not use what's called hormone replacement therapy. So if you are going through menopause or you've had a hysterectomy where they take your uterus, you want to definitely start talking about those things with your doctor. Again, you talk with the doctor to help you out with that. So there are things like over the counter, like Amberen, also black cohosh.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I like Sprouts because they have a whole aisle or section.
Yes, they do. I was gonna say that.
Yes, specifically for, and I like the way it's set up. So it's easy for the lay person to go in and say, okay, this is wrong with me. Let me get this. Also,
Right.
if you buy the Sprouts brand and it doesn't work for you, after you take it, you open it, they will take it back.
They'll take it back.
Right.
They will.
So Amberen is kind of expensive. It was recommended to me, but you'd have to take it for 3 months. And like myself, I know I'm like most women, you don't want to wait that long. You can't wait that long.
Right.
So to be honest with you, do what works for you, but black cohosh are the most popular in the Amberen. But there's plenty of other things out there because menopause has lots of symptoms. Hot flash is just one. There's insomnia. There's mood swings.
Mood swings.
All kinds of things. So it depends on what you suffer from. But yes, over the counter is definitely out there for us. And I recommend Sprouts because of that. We'll try it. If you buy it and try it, you can still take it back.
Take it
Yeah,
back.
you
I
can still
love
take it back.
Sprouts.
And
Also,
you guys
yeah,
do too.
definitely. But exercise also, foods to stay away from are caffeine, alcohol, that makes things worse, your symptoms worse. But
That's good to know.
yes, but spiritual things, yoga, meditation, for whatever, calms you. You exercise your soul too. So exercise, cardiovascular exercise or yoga, anything that gets the heart rate doubled what it is at resting. I say that like if your resting heart rate is 70 and whatever your exercise is gets it up to 140, then you're doing swell.
You're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah, you made one good point. I tell all my friends, and I'm not a nurse, nowhere near it. I say, you said no caffeine, no alcohol. I tell my friends, no alcohol after 40, period.
Okay, yeah, give it up. Just let it go. After 40,
You're
you should
too
just
old to
let
be
it
drinking
go.
that stuff.
There you go. I know.
And I'm gonna give a shout out to this one because he used to drink so much coffee when we first came together, and
Oh, God.
he has now. We do not have coffee in our house. We don't
Oh,
have coffee at all.
congratulations.
We drink. What do we drink, Henny?
Well, unsweetened tea
Yes, unsweetened tea
or hot
and
tea.
no sugar.
Yeah.
No sugar.
I want to be like you when I
I
grow
know.
up.
I'm trying to be like you
We use
guys.
stevia, liquid stevia, because he was on like 10 packs of sugar per cup. So we just had to do something.
But that was my secret.
But kudos to you, Eddie.
Nobody
Kudos
knew
to
but
you.
me and the girl at McDonald's.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty bad, and I wouldn't even use the package. I would use the pump.
Yeah, just
You
doing
know,
the pump.
they have a machine where they pump,
Oh.
and that was really bad because I would go through the drive-through, and I would pull off and take a sip, and I would blow my horn like, wait, bag up and say, that's not 10, that's like 8. That's how bad I was.
It's
you know?
really bad, but we do not have
Yeah.
sugar in our house,
Yeah.
and we do not have coffee here. And your sister's up acting up, talking about, does anyone have a caffeine deliverance ministry?
Oh yeah, my
Yeah,
sister
yeah,
drink
yeah.
coffee. She started me to drink.
Well, if I could get Nate off, just point your hands at the screen and receive this deliverance in Jesus' name. Amen. I want to say hi to Consuela. Hey, Consuela La, we're glad you're on. Hey, Antoinette, we're thankful for you. And Pastor Benny Pettit, she's telling us that her numbers, all her labs were great, and her doctor suggested that she just keep up the good work. So we want you to know that, you have a body, you only get one. And, most of us, we already know the stuff we're doing that's not good for our body.
Yeah.
And I really recommend, I'm not a nurse, I have a doctorate degree, but it is not in nursing. But I always tell people, if you would just live at least 80% of what you already know, you'll be fine. Just do the good things that you already know. And then that 20% where a problem pops up, if you'll be like this one and go to the doctor, and Pastor Benny, go get that blood draw. Those are, go see the vampires, and they'll help you out. They really will.
Well, me personally, I think I would just drop dead if I didn't go take my physical. You know,
You would worry about it too much.
I would worry myself to
Yeah.
death.
Yeah.
And it's not like like I say, I'm not feeling any kind of way. It's just that I know that in order to survive, especially
You're
in
gonna
the
keep going.
time and culture that we're
Yeah.
in now, where the food is processed, the sweets are
Oof.
chemical. It's just we live in a world where it's all about money, and they will sell you anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
To get you $1, and so we have to do better.
Yeah.
And water is a tough one. I hear
Somebody
in the
chat
comments, water's a
talking
tough
about
one.
water.
My wife was begin to sell these products because she's like, what do you call you? I used to
I'm like an entrepreneur.
Okay, you can use that.
I'm a
But
health
at first I
health
was
and
like,
wellness.
who lives like that?
Health and wellness.
And so, but there's this product that I put in my water, and before then, I thought people who drink water just didn't have a life. I mean, water had no flavor, it's no excitement. I mean, who drinks that stuff? But it's like the source to longevity. You gotta have that water.
Gotta have your water.
And so I began to put these products in my water to make me drink it. Now I can just drink water without
can
it in
drink
it,
water.
But at first it was tough.
It's all the sugar. You was
Yeah.
getting sugar on that side. If you
Right.
cut out everything else water tastes great. It tastes
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if you're
it
drinking,
does now.
yeah, if you're drinking a coffee with 10 pumps of sugar, water
Oh
doesn't
yeah, I
taste
should
good.
talk. Huh?
Do you even
You
like
didn't
your
have to bring
kidney?
that up.
So you can add fruit to your water. I'm not a lemon lover, so I will use orange. I found that a slice or two of cucumber really freshens it. Some mint leaves will do it, or a drop of mint in your water. There's so many ways to add little things to your water. I took the rind from a tangerine. Who knew? Delicious. I mean,
And
Yeah.
make it cold.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
I like
find out how
when
you like it. Hot, cold, do you need a straw? My husband, here's my bottle. It's full of ice and water, and I just carry this everywhere. Our bodies are 80% water. You need
That's right.
water. If you're thirsty, you're already on the first level of dehydration.
Now, see, that's why I didn't drink it, because they told me my body was 80%. I didn't need no more water.
You
I
need.
mean-
You
All right.
see what I got to deal with, lady?
All right, so I have another question here. I thought was a good question, because especially when we get sick and we think we catching a cold or something, we turn to these type of things. So someone asked, how about apple cider and lemon juice? Are they good for you?
Apple cider vinegar, I think. Is
Apple cider vinegar.
Are you talking
yeah.
about apple cider vinegar?
Probably.
Okay, probably. All right.
Okay. Um, anything in moderation is probably okay. All right.
Okay.
But there is no magic formula for losing weight.
Right.
Most people
Right.
use it for its alkaline properties. So, they have this alkaline water because acidity does, create more problems. It creates more opportunity for disease, and, your body's out of balance. However, if I always say this, if it were, even 90% true, none of us would be heavy.
Exactly.
So I'm not saying that it doesn't work or that it's bad for you, but it's not going to hurt. We just don't want you having a half a bottle of apple cider vinegar, every day because, you think you're going to lose 10 pounds and fit into that
Yes.
dress or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's nothing, wrong with it, but there's no magic to it. So whenever people ask me about apple cider vinegar, I know the next question is it going to help me lose weight? Okay. Also, fun fact, I've tried everything, and the only thing that works is what the doctor told me. Stop eating so much and exercise. Okay.
Right. Right.
Ding.
You
That
only
works.
you only need a certain amount, to get you going. And what my amount is different from Martha's, what Martha's is different from yours.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it depends on your metabolism, and that's basically it. And they're never asking, you to quit sugar altogether or stop fat altogether.
Altogether.
Because
Nothing
Right.
drastic.
Right.
Yeah, the carbs or
Moderation.
Moderation.
that's what's really unhealthy is these fad diets,
Yes.
and you think you're doing it to lose weight, but you're hurting your kidneys, your liver,
Right. And that's the
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
and we need those forever.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
we want to be nice to our liver and our kidneys, along with our heart and everything else. But
Right.
you have to be careful that you're not doing anything extreme whatsoever, because your body's going to get what it needs, and if it doesn't get it, it just shuts down. So
Right.
you're not tricking anything and tricking your body. The closest you can come to it is, okay, if I eat this donut, I'm gonna go, walk 3 miles. That's about it. Yeah.
You're about right.
about right.
Yes.
So, ladies, I want to give you all. We've managed a lot of questions from the chat. I mean, already,
Yeah.
but I want to give you all a chance to,
Right.
as nurses, and
Right.
you
Right.
mentioned this, the causes that you feel very strongly about in the health field. So, Martha, come on and tell us what's something that's dear to your heart. You've been a nurse for a long time now. What is something that you wish people knew that you could say to us? Maybe patients, non-nurse people. what
I think it is okay to not know and to ask questions.
Right.
Okay, when my mother comes back from the doctor and I say, well, why didn't you ask? She didn't understand something that was said. Why didn't you ask? And she won't ask. And I think it's so important that the public know that they have the right to know what's going on with their health. If there's something the doctor discusses with you that you do not fully understand, get clarification. If you're on medication, you should know why you're taking that medication. You should also know the name of your medications and the doses of your medications. Okay. And a lot of times people are taking a pill and you ask, why are you taking it? My doctor prescribed it, right? You need to know this is your body, your health. So it's important that you ask questions. And I know a lot of times when you go to the doctors, it can be intimidating. So I suggest writing out a list beforehand, and then also when you have questions, jot them down so you can go over them or ask any clarifying questions, because you have a right to know.
That's a good point.
All right, that's great.
So many people are just
That's
unclear.
great.
Yes.
They're uninformed. And so you guys don't let yourself stay uninformed about what's going on. Don't just go along, you know,
As a
find
people,
some comfort there. Go ahead, Miss Crescenda.
I also think that it is generational, and as a people, we feel
Yeah.
intimidated,
Yeah.
or we're distrusting of the healthcare system. So we don't know what to ask, or we're afraid to ask questions, or we already have decided that they don't know what they're talking about. I'll go home and ask my nurse friend or my mama. But I also think that we have to be a little more trustful. And if you don't have a rapport with your doctor and you're not comfortable asking questions, ask the nurse, because we're trained that way.
Right.
So oftentimes I would
That's
work for
true.
years with a physician that may be a little abrasive or get a little impatient, maybe with the elderly patients. So I would be like, just write down whatever he says, or, think of your questions. And if you ask the questions and you still don't feel like he answered them, just ask me. So when we come out, we can talk about it. So I
That's
always
excellent.
tell my students that too, that, the doctor isn't taught a bedside manner. So you're taught a bedside manner, and the patient comes first, and we believe in patient-centered care. So let your patients trust you. And if you don't trust the doctor, or you feel like he's not answering your questions, or for whatever reason, ask your nurse, because she will know.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
That's really good because I really burned that one up.
Oh, yeah.
I drill my nurse. I mean, she know me well because and I didn't even know if that's why I was doing it. I just know that the doctor's really busy. He's in and out of these different rooms, and so he don't really have a whole lot of time to focus on all of my questions. And so my nurse is there with me most of the time. And so I'm going to ask her all of those things. And the good thing about a good nurse, and I know you both are, with the thing about a good nurse, she always tell me what to ask my doctor.
Right. That's true.
Ask him for this. Tell him to prescribe that. And I do it every time. I mean, and he'd be like, "Oh, great idea." Oh yeah, I'm
Right.
smart. See?
Yeah, nurses are a patient's advocate. We
They
advocate for the
are.
patient.
They
So it's
are.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do. Like I said, we're patient-centered. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
we treat the whole person, like you were saying, though, at the topic of the conversation, mind, body, and soul.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
Absolutely,
right.
That's
absolutely.
good.
It's very good, very good
Excellent,
information.
excellent. All right, Miss Crescenda, what about you? What's something that you say I would love for people to know more in terms of the health, or what's a cause that's on your heart?
Um, my soft spot is always for the vulnerable, the mentally ill children and the elderly.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I know it's Mental Health Awareness Month,
Sure is.
yeah,
but it is one of my favorites, and we have to remember that, even though we don't have like insane asylums and we're not burning them at the stake, and stuff, but
right, 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 right.
we need to be a little more open to what's not normal, and we need to stop telling ourselves that we are okay with everything and ostracizing them.
Yeah, very good.
suffering, and they need your help. So you know that each one teach one, but you can always save one. I always believe that.
Yeah, that's
So pay attention to your peers, pay attention to, pay attention to behavior that is out of the ordinary, and just don't think it weird and, maybe talk about them or avoid them. Just have conversations, just pay attention. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, okay.
I would like to see
Beautiful.
people pay attention.
that's
Beautiful.
good.
Now here go a question from our one of our viewers, and this question is gonna always pop up. We said we weren't gonna talk about it, but so the question is, do you feel that COVID is gone away, and what can we do to protect ourselves?
Okay, based on the numbers, COVID has not gone anywhere.
Right.
Okay, every time you think you're out of the woodwork, here go the peak, right? So right now our numbers are doing this, so it's not gone away. Okay, and so I would say to take all the measures possible, right? Be cautious of when you come in the house, you're washing your hands, you're not touching your face, you're separating yourself, you're distancing from people, you're not right up on someone. If you could smell someone's breath, they're probably too close. Okay, protect yourself. If you're in a crowded area, you should be wearing a mask. Be fully vaccinated. Just take the appropriate measures so you're protecting yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And those that, again, children don't have the best immune systems, and they, love to be in each other's face, and they love to share, they're not like adults. So even if you're not, trying to catch COVID, no, although I don't know anyone who would, but you're still protecting the vulnerable population. So the elderly, my parents are both up in age. I have newborns in the family. So I wear a mask so that I can love on my family when I get. So it's true. You, even if you are vaccinated, you still need to be careful, and you should do everything possible to protect yourself. I agree with that too. COVID is never going away. It will be controlled and it will be managed. We will one day have a vaccine. I have no doubt that will, make it almost disappear. We've done that already. The science is already there. So with whooping cough, with chicken pox, with measles, we have vaccines for all of these things, but we had to get there. We had to we have to get there. So no, it's not over. It's not 100% controlled, but we can still do everything we can to stay well and not spread it.
Good answer. Good.
Beautiful, beautiful.
One of my students brought up today that he heard there's some sort of meningitis outbreak. Is that true?
I have not
heard
that.
I know that there was a report that there's a lot more influenza right now, but he was hearing about an outbreak of meningitis. Can you just tell us what that is? And
well, there's two types of meningitis. There's the viral and bacterial. We do have vaccines for the viral, and bacterial we can use antibiotics for. Meningitis is an infection or a bacteria or virus that gets into the meninges, which is what bathes our brain. Okay. That is usually, that is a sterile area. So there should be nothing but meninges in our skull and in our brain. So we get this bacteria that travels and infects the meninges, which causes problems with the brain. So usually it's nerve something. The first sign usually is a stiff neck or rigid neck, and they aren't able to touch their chin to their chest without pain. Later signs could be seizures. It depends on where the bacteria is and where it's taking place. So as we know, the brain is an intricate thing. So that depends on what it is. High fever is also a early sign, but it can be fatal if it is not taken care of. So you would need to be seen by a physician or a doctor immediately, because the longer you wait, your chances are a lot slimmer.
So go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
Pretty
Go to
much.
the
Pretty
doctor.
much.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Now I have a question, because this is Mental Health Month, right?
Mhm.
And
Mental health wellness.
and we know that we have like a major problem with among our homeless population, right?
Mm.
So, Ms. Dixon, if you had the opportunity to have a homeless patient, someone who's been out there a very long time, what would be the first procedures that you would think about concerning that particular person, knowing that they just come off the street?
Mm.
How would you handle a situation like that?
So for people who are without shelter, okay, we want to think about resources for these people, okay,
Right.
because their nutrition is probably not what it should be. Well, if you run their labs, they're probably dehydrated. They're probably having a lot of other things going on that we can't even see. The mental health aspect is only one layer to it. Okay, so we have to think of their resources because if they're not able to afford a place to live, they probably don't have the ability to
Hmm.
pay the copay at a clinic. They need free resources. They need a place they can go to get their blood work and everything done, and also understand their options. Because if you don't know, you don't know. They may not have a phone or
That's
something of that sort to Google or to look anything up. So while we have them in our care, we should be looking to provide as many resources that are relevant as
so
possible.
beautiful. That's great.
That's
Great
good.
answer.
That's good.
Great
Did you want
answer.
to add to that, Miss Priscinda?
Yeah, definitely. There, you know, the mental health population also, if they are homeless, they don't have the resources. Also, the medications for some of the mental illnesses are extremely expensive. So if they don't have a, you know, good insurance, that would be difficult for them to pay for their medication anyway.
Wow.
Um, Also, research has not been that great to as far as medications for the mentally ill. So the side effects are sometimes worse than the actual episodes. And mental health, some illnesses, even if it's just depression, not that depression is just depression, but it goes like this. So they have to take a pill every day and they might feel lousy. They don't like the side effects. So they'd rather just be sad and
Mm-hmm.
try to cope with it. Also, because of the money and the insurance, those things are all, problems. So they definitely need resources. And they, like I said, they need your help. They can't do it on their own.
Yeah. Now, in our country, we're like facing like a lot of different shortages. Even I think there's even probably a blood shortage, right? Now, because there's so many people that's homeless, there's no way that they could help our society by giving blood. Is just too risky.
I think the science is there as far as not getting diseases or anything like that. The way your blood is filtered when you donate or when you receive it, it is safe. That part I'm not worried about. The
Okay.
problem is that we don't have the donors.
Yeah. Right.
So people are not willing to donate. Um, and we have what's called like universal donors. We have universal, recipients, and those are the people that really need, to give blood because that's where we have the shortages. But as far as the infections or the risks for receiving blood or anything like that, there's really little to no risk at this point.
Okay.
Um, but the problem is that we don't have the donors.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've always had this question in the back of my head because I do, go to my doctor. I do take physicals. What happens to that blood that's drawn from my body once the tests are done? What happens to that?
Toss it. So they, I'm like, I don't want to say they toss it so you don't think your blood's being waste, right?
Right, right.
However, there's really no need for your blood after they run the test on it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we have what we call a biohazard area. So it's not in the trash can, but it ultimately is where you put waste. Okay, so they're not storing it or saving it for a rainy day, right? They just kind of use what they need of it, and then the rest of it is going to be disposed of.
Absolutely. And that's what I thought. I always wanted to know that. Yeah.
And the reason why, Nate, they're taking so many tubes is it depends on what they're checking for.
Yeah, right.
So
And now that's what I was getting ready to ask. Why does it take
Depends on
9
what they're checking
tubes
for.
of blood?
So each tube checks something different.
Different. Right. Absolutely.
It
Okay.
has to-
Well, my doctor
the
did
blood
say-
has to be preserved in a certain type of tube, so
Yeah.
everything is specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then for each test, they need different amounts of my blood then? Because sometimes the vials are really big.
Right. It depends on the amount and
I don't
also,
look at them.
right. They're different. They have the rubber stoppers are different colors.
Right.
So the way
Yeah.
the way the blood is preserved is
Mhm.
different. So it depends totally on the test and what they're testing for.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Great.
Okay.
Great.
It's okay to have a lot of tubes. That's okay. That just
It's
Okay.
scary.
Hey,
It's
I
very
don't.
scary.
No, it don't. It don't
Yeah,
bother me.
nothing.
It don't bother me because I don't look. But I do see when he lay them out there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that's hard to draw
My
blood
arm is hurting
from.
like right now.
So they
Stop it.
have to use a butterfly. They use a butterfly for me.
Yeah, me too, Nate. I have
You
terrible.
too? Okay,
Small
yeah.
little veins. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
the ones in the
right.
arm. I wish they would go somewhere else where you can see them popping up,
Right,
but no,
right.
I was going to go there.
Ow.
It's a small poke. It's beneficial. You guys will be okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blood draw goes like that.
Later.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if that's what it takes to know that I'm gonna be okay for a while, that's what I do, because it's always good to monitor your health. It's still no guarantee,
Right.
but at least you know that far as science knows, you're in good shape. That means a lot to me to know that I don't have I'm not on the verge of a heart attack or I need to know those
It's
things.
true.
Yeah.
And you must know that the insurance companies spend a lot less money doing preventative care, like you getting the blood drawn before there's a problem.
Absolutely.
They cost them, thousands and millions of dollars to take care of you when you do have a disease. So
Right.
they want you to go and take care of yourself because it's easier on them. They're still a business,
Right.
So the best thing to do is go on and give that 12 tubes of blood once a year and be done with it. So,
because it builds back
I
up. It
know.
builds back up, right? And
of course, your
Yeah.
body
You're not missing that little bit of blood they take.
yeah, right.
It feels like a lot. It feels like a lot. I tell you. What are some things that we can learn? I guess we run into people who need care. More people are caregiving, and many of us are in the house, even trying to quarantine at times, or like you said, we have all these various generations. What are some quick tips that you can give us? You talked about bedside manner. What's maybe a lesson, an easy one that you can teach us that would help us be not so much nurses? Obviously, we could never replace you. It's just never going to happen. We're so people.
Yeah.
But what are one or two things maybe that you could tell us that each of you maybe could tell us that, we might be able to call on if we need to care for someone or nurse them until you get there? What's some
Okay.
easy bedside manner things?
What are you thinking, Crescenda?
Well, you always want to remain calm. And when I say calm, I don't mean have peace. Because if your patient is struggling with their illness or, their roles have changes because maybe they were always taking care of people and now they're being taken care of. So there's a lot going on in their head. So be aware of that. So
Right.
come to them at peace and smile. That relieves a lot of anxiety.
Oh, absolutely.
and remember that if you've ever been vulnerable, remember what that felt like.
Yeah.
And I always tell my students, meet your patient where they're at, and then you can talk your way up. If you're
Right.
trying to
Okay.
educate them, or you're trying to take care of them, or explain to them why you're taking care of them, or why you're doing what you're doing, whatever the procedure might be. But I always feel that you should try to be peaceful, be calm and open, so that they can trust you to take care of them and meet them where they're at. That's
Beautiful.
That.
the only thing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But
Okay,
thank
so we.
Wait,
Okay, I'm
Miss
sorry.
Martha didn't get a chance.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Oh, I would say that you should definitely pay attention to changes, but with that person. Okay, so you don't want to generalize. You want to say with this person, if they're having changes. So if they normally sleep well and now they're not getting sleep, that's a
Right.
change. If they're no
Yeah.
longer able to eat than they used to eat, that's a change. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also to be patient, understand when people are in pain, they're usually going to be mean. Okay. And don't take it personal. You can't internalize that. If someone doesn't feel well, they're going to be grumpy.
Yeah, right.
And that's okay. They have to be able to express themselves and feel how they're feeling. And you just want to be their support. Okay.
Absolutely. That's
That's
good.
good. You made me think about that. We call them patients.
We call them, have patience with your patient.
Patients. I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
So we're down to the last 5 minutes. So, we want you guys to, that's probably what you just did, but just leave one pointer with our audience.
Maybe one thought that
Something
you'd like
that
to say.
that you know need to be said,
Yeah.
or something that can help them, be more confident and going to the doctor and get those physicals every year.
Or whatever may be on your heart, like a
Yeah,
last thought.
whatever
that
your
you like
last
to-
thought might be.
Yeah.
Let's start.
Who wants to go first?
I will speak to our next generation of medical professionals. Okay, our
Great.
next generation of nurses.
Great.
I would like to say to just go for it. This is the time. If you've ever wanted to be in the healthcare field,
All right.
this is the time to do it. Okay, because you will never be without a job anywhere you go. Okay, and you're probably going to start off at a better wage than you would have ever in the past.
Right.
So if you ever thought of this, maybe for me, I would say go for it and go in full hearted, not half stepping, not a little bit. Be ready to make sacrifice, be ready to make that commitment and be dedicated to it and see it through so that you can come out on the other side and be proud of yourself that you did it.
That's great.
Excellent.
Woo, I like that.
Wait, I
That's
feel
great.
inspired.
I feel like going to.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Am
go
I
ahead.
too
Come on.
old?
You can do it. You're never too old. You can do it.
Yeah, that's really good.
From the population side, I just you have to love yourself. There has to be one thing that you like about yourself, even if it's the way your nose is shaped or the way hair curls, or there you have to love yourself. And if you love yourself, you will take care of yourself.
Wow.
Right.
That's good.
great. We appreciate you,
That's
ladies.
good.
Thank you guys so
Wow,
much
we can
for
have
coming
two
on the
better
show.
people
And
on.
we didn't say it earlier, but they are actually they work with
Angie.
Angie. And
Yeah,
so
they
Angie
work
had
with-
actually set the show up,
Yeah.
but at the last minute she got called out because we all know she's taken on some new positions, and so she's very sad about it. But so I asked her, she said, so should we postpone? I said, well,
Oh,
no.
no.
I said, well, do you think they can do the show? She said, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And guess what, guys?
You
She
guys
was
did a
right.
Great job.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Right.
Thank you so much for having us.
She was
Thank
right.
you.
So we thank you guys for
Yeah.
coming on. We're not going to hold you. We thank you for your time. We look forward to sharing with you guys more in the
Yes,
future.
we'll have you. Would you be willing to come back?
Yeah, let's talk.
Absolutely. Let's talk.
Okay, well, good. I mean, when she asked it, the first thing came to my mind, well, they're nurses. They always working.
They always working, but this is, we and hopefully we can draw some other people to the
Right.
profession.
Right,
We need
right.
nurses. and
Yeah.
we need
Yes, we do.
people to see successful nurses.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
has
We need
been
good nurses. We need good
good
Yeah. Good
nurses,
nurses.
successful, good,
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
You all have been amazing. We want to say
Amazing.
thank
Amazing.
you
Amazing.
so much for coming on, both of you. Excellent job. We appreciate you. Thanks so much for
God
coming on.
bless.
Justin, go
Been a
ahead
pleasure.
Go ahead and log
and
off.
log
Thank you
off.
so
We
much.
appreciate you. And thank you to
Bye-bye.
all
Look
of our
forward to seeing you
audience.
again.
We are so many of you have wonderful questions out
Right,
there.
right.
So we thank God. Dana Gordon, thank you for being on tonight. So glad. I hope those of you that had some questions, you had a chance to ask them. And those of you that are thinking at all, or have someone near you that may be thinking about joining the profession, hopefully you're inspired. And I felt so good about the tips. Like, just remain
Right.
calm,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
be kind, and remember that, when people are sick, they can be a little grumpy.
I agree.
We love you guys. We're so grateful. We're so excited to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Mani, you are amazing, amazing. We welcome you to come on back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, because we're going to be here. And I'm going to play our song going out, I think.
Thank you for being on,
Yes.
Pastor Pettit and
Yes.
Mom Geneva.
Mom Newman
Liz,
and
thank
the Everetts and Glennis.
Everett,
We appreciate you. And come on.
Dana, Gordon, thank you.
Yeah.
God bless.
All right, we're going to play our theme song for you guys, okay? All right.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about God. Let's talk about this.
Isn't that good? That's so good. I should have showed the video.
All right. God bless. Love you guys.
We
See you
love
next
you.
week.
See you next week.